G'day lovelies, welcome back. Alright, the new night for Aussie Girl Can Cook is going to be Sunday nights. I'm going to try and put 2 videos up every Sunday night. This way I can hopefully get ahead a bit, so if I don't have any ingredients or I get taken out by a migraine, I don't have to stress out. I know there's videos coming up. Okay, first up tonight is iconic melting moment biscuits. So this is one off of the hit list. So the first thing we want to do is get out 250 grams of butter. We want to chop them up into a bowl and leave it sitting there forever until it goes soft at room temperature. Once it's soft at room temperature, we want to preheat our ovens to 160 degrees Celsius. We want to grab out at least 1 baking tray with baking paper. Now in another bowl, we want to sift 1.5 cups of plain flour with 1/2 cup of corn flour. Then mix them through and set it aside. Now I'll write the recipe below as always. Now into our bowl of softened butter, we want to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract or essence, 1/2 cup of icing sugar or powdered sugar I think it's called in the other states. Now with an electric beater, we want to beat it until it's light and fluffy. Now we want to mix our flour into our butter and we just want to do half at a time. Once we've done that, we now want to get a bit of plain flour in another bowl and we want to make sure we flour our fingers. We want to grab a teaspoon and we want a heaped teaspoon amount. Now whatever amount you put on there, you want to try and get the exact same amount every time so the bickies are the same size. So with our floured fingers, we want to roll it and onto our tray. Okay, once we've done that, now I might have put them a bit too close, time will tell. And as you can see, I've done a bang up job of making them all even. So now with our flour, we want to get a fork and just put our fork in the flour. So we have a floured fork. Alright, and we want to press down on them. And then I'll sort of line it up with the same holes and then press down the edges. I'll try and get them all even. Alright, so I'll turn it around. And then just flatten the other sides out. Like so. Once we've done that, our oven should be up to temperature. We want to bang them in there. When they're ready, you'll be able to push on them and they won't break. Alright, while our first batch is in, we want to grab another bowl out. We want to grab out 90 grams of butter and chop it up into the bowl and set it aside. That way when we finish cooking all our bickies and they've gone cold, our butter is soft enough at room temperature to make our buttercream. Exactly 16 minutes later in my plain electric oven. Now remember, I've made the big ones. To make the smaller ones, you want to get an actual teaspoon measurement and do a heaped teaspoon of the teaspoon measurement. You'll also be able to get them a lot perfecter size as well, but I just match them up after. They'll take about 14 minutes. So if you've got a cooling rack, you want to slide them out onto the cooling rack. If you don't have a cooling rack, just slide it out onto the bench somewhere, gently. Like so. And then whack the next lot in. So because I'm making the big ones, I'll make 12. But if you make them with the heaped teaspoon measurement, you'll make around 24. Alrighty, bickies are cold, butter is soft. Now we're ready to do the buttercream. So we want to put 3/4 cup of icing sugar. Then with an electric beater, we want to beat it till smooth. Now once we've done that, we're supposed to have 1 teaspoon of lemon juice and 1 teaspoon of lemon rind. I don't have any lemons, so I'm just going to use the lemon juice out the bottle. So what I'm going to do is just put 1.5 teaspoons in and hopefully that'll be alright. And now we just want to beat it until it's mixed through. So I've matched all my bickies up to roughly the same size. Alright, so we just want to spread some on there. And then sandwich them together. Like so. Once we've done that, they'll look like this. Now there's enough buttercream to put a nice big wad on each one. I always make things really big, I can't help myself. So if they are very rich bickies, so it doesn't hurt to make them smaller. Alright, so I'm going to get my little strainer with some icing sugar. And I'm just going to tappity tap tap over them all. Well, there you have at Lovely's iconic melting moment biscuits. Store them in an airtight container in the fridge and they'll last up to 3 days. Now you want to stick them in the fridge for at least half an hour or so before you eat them so that the buttercream can set. Give them a crack, your family's gonna love them. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back. Toodles.